Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And in today's video, I just wanted to share, a number of things in 5 to 8 minutes about what no longer being dependent to weed is like, and maybe some insights and pieces of wisdom that, um, you know, that I can share with you and that hopefully give you some insight for your journey as well. Okay, so first thing I want to acknowledge, and I'm going to keep a close eye on the time here, is that being dependent or addicted to marijuana can be really, really tricky. I want to acknowledge the hardship. I want to acknowledge the inner conflict. I also want to acknowledge the suffering and maybe even depression that comes with that. And I want to let you know that wherever you're at on your journey, you have everything it takes to figure this out. And it may not happen in the timing that you prefer, but consider that everything that you're going through along the way are all things you're meant to learn and understand. And that when you're ready to make the transition you're looking for, it's going to happen. And it's going to take effort. It's going to take conscious work on your part. It's not always going to be easy, but it is for damn sure worth it. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna maybe jump around a little bit here, but one of the things I realized is that it's not so much about you versus weed, right? It is you versus this sense of unhappiness in yourself and in your life. And to be more specific, it's you versus growing and not growing. And I think what happens to some of us who really become in love with marijuana and the way it serves us is we become more loyal to keeping marijuana and its benefits around. We become more loyal to that than we are loyal to the honest truth of what we need to do in our lives. And I think what some of you may not, what I didn't realize is that the part of me that is responsible and present in my life, emotionally available, and feels satisfied with myself, that part of me and using marijuana, they don't really coexist for me, you know? And I don't say things like I'll never use marijuana again because that doesn't really empower me. But I used to try and think that I had to have marijuana a part of my lifestyle in some fashion. And that the idea of not having marijuana in my life, at least as an option, created so much suffering. And and that's where a lot of conflict comes from. Having this belief that marijuana ought to be a part of the equation. But as I move further and further away from that lifestyle, what I've noticed is that what makes me truly happy is when I'm willing to be with the true emotions that I'm going through. And I also feel better about myself when I'm not using marijuana, even when it's in a recreational sense. And I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you why. But that's just what I've noticed. And I think, something to consider is that the part of you that really loves marijuana and loves having it around, and I'm not saying this is true for everyone, okay? But just something to consider. Consider that the person you want to be in your life uses or doesn't use marijuana in a specific way as well. And here's the thing, it's like, I had to, and this happened over time for me, but I had to get really clear, more and more clear on the things that actually made me feel good and happy about myself in my life. And, what that looks like is being on top of my shit, right? Not overindulging in pleasure, especially if I'm not balancing it with work and productivity and growth. And I think maybe to kind of start to close it off here, because I'm already running over time, really start to take a hard look at, like, basically, you got to be more willing to give up marijuana. Not saying that you have to, but at the end of the day, you have to be more willing to put marijuana down in favor of doing what you know is best for you, at least in the moment. And this can be applied on a daily basis. It's like, okay, and this could be something to take into consideration if you want to moderate or be someone who's responsible with marijuana. First of all, you have to be clear about what's important, okay? Let's say you're in school, right? What's more important is that you're more clear-headed and able to focus on your studies if you smoke later, not now. And you know, the shift that needs to be made is that weed has to go way lower on the priority list. Way, way lower. Especially if you know that when you use it, you know, you become lazy or you really check out. And it's on you to decide. Truly, it's on the individual to decide when, where, and why is marijuana a fulfilling choice. And I think potentially what might be a scary answer is that it's like, oh, it's like on rare occasion, right? And I think what it starts with is getting honest about what you truly want about yourself in your life, what it's going to require to get there, and then being honest and seeing where marijuana fits with that. Because, for example, if you want to be in shape, let's say you're 200 pounds, but you want to be 150 shredded, right? But you just know that if you smoke marijuana on a daily basis, you don't train, you don't make the right food decisions, okay? So then maybe first of all, you have to be honest about those results. Like, oh shit, I didn't get done what I need to get done. And then you have to change it. It's like, oh, I can only really afford to smoke and use marijuana on these times and days because they conflict with my goals or they conflict with my value system. And so, you know, again, this took me time to figure out and trial and error, but I think just the willingness to end the video right now, the willingness to finally put yourself and your life and your truth and your values ahead of the pleasure called a great couple hours with marijuana. Right? Like if you are having trouble sleeping and you're used to using weed when you go to sleep, but you don't like to smoke and you don't like to rely on something like marijuana to help you do that because of the way it impacts you in the rest of your life, then the thing to accept is like, dang, like I really do have to stop using marijuana in that way. And that's tough. That can be tough because you're used to it. But I think maybe to end the video, it's like just really getting honest about what's important to you, where you're trying to go in your life, and then getting real honest about where marijuana fits in that picture. And at the end of the day, to be more committed and focused on having a life that you enjoy and that fulfills you and feeling good about yourself and how you conduct yourself. Being more committed to feeling good about how you conduct yourself than being committed to making sure there's always time for weed in the day, right? Be more committed to you and your truth than to the stoner's paradise of smoking whenever you want, right? All right, so I'll keep it there, under 10 minutes. Hopefully this video was of value to you. Leave down in the comments below what came up for you, what you learned, and anything else you want to share. That's it for today. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Peace.